Hi everyone, my name is Surintiran Bhavan, son of Ramasamy. My metric number is BIB2006. Today I'm going to tell about the defects that I have found from my house. Okay, before I'm starting about the defects, I would like to give a brief explanation about my house that I'm staying right now. Uh, my house is an apartment. The apartment consists of 5 stories, approximately around 50 units, and the building is divided into two. One, three stories are given for the occupants, for the private occupants, and the upper 2 stories, which is level 4 and level 5, was bought by a private company, uh, and they are doing the homestay right up there. Uh, this apartment is located at Cameron Highlands, Ringlet, Pahang. Due to the pandemic, I will just show the pictures of the defects rather than I'm showing the video format for you. Before going to the defects, I would like to tell you about the building construction. During the building construction, this building was built around 2017, and it is just newly built, and this building is just around 3 to 4 years built, so the amount of defects is very less. The defects I have found is from the external structures of the building. uh, the common defects are building cracks, insects, dampness, rusting. Before I'm showing the pictures, I would like to inform that this is a raining season, so the pictures may not be clear uh, due to the weather situation right now. Okay, moving on to the building defects. First of all, the building defect that I found is cracking on the building structures. Uh, the struct As you can see in the pictures, I have found some cracking on the wall that has made as a compound wall around the apartment. The cracking are getting increased due to the water substance which is going inside in between the cracks. Um, this structural movement, based on my experience, I have found that this structural movement was made because of the vibration, ground movement, and maybe the material type. Uh, the compound wall was made up with cement bricks and concrete. Uh, as you can see, the compound wall, uh, it even has some uh, peeling paints on it. Uh, the water, the rainwater which enters inside the cracks will cause the cracks to increase the cracks. Surrounding this building area, there are few construction works are going on. Uh, due the elevation of the place is high, so most probably high-rise building are using piling works around the compound. So during the piling works, there are some vibration which will cause cracking on the building structures. Uh, these building structures are not on the beams or columns, but it gives the effects on the compound wall which surrounds the building. Moreover, the material type, as I told you, the cement bricks, which is not as strong as a clay bricks. So, uh, as the time, uh, as the materials is getting older, it will give impact on the building structures. Moreover, as I told you, ground movement, uh, it is also maybe a cause because the the load on the building will give some ground movement to the on the ground, which will cause cracking on the building envelopes later on. Looking on the overall condition of the element, it's quite good. As you can see in the pictures, it's not that bad, but it should be repaired as soon as possible to decrease the effect on the envelope, on the building structures. Sorry. uh, the recommendation that I can give for to repair the buildings, the compound wall, is to replaster the cracks and repaint it. This will prevent the water flow inside the cracks, which can decrease the crack amount. Now the crack is just like a hairline. uh, if we did not do any prevention, later on it will give a bigger cracks, which will cause massive damage later on. Okay, the second defect that I have found from the building is peeling paints, where the paints are getting peeled day by day. uh, this is caused by the water and the weather, as I can tell lah, because the roof for this building is flat roof, where the rainwater is not enough, does not have enough piping system to vacuum out all the waters from the flat roof. So the waters start staining on the flat roof, which gives an impact on the on the wall, on the external wall, where the stained water uh, entering inside the concrete, which gives a crack on it. You can see on the pictures as well. From the cracks, the waters are flowing on the external wall, which gives peeling paint on the external wall. So uh, the building is just built 3 years ago, so the paints are very new. It should not be peeled this fast due to the weather and the water, the roof water and the rainwater. This causes there's a peeling paint on the external wall. uh, the most suitable recommendation that I can give for this is we can replaster the external wall and then repaint it. uh, from this we can, we must replaster the external and internal wall to avoid the water enters inside the crack. The water which enters inside the crack will later on rust the reinforcement steels, and the reinforcement steel later on will expand. As you all know, when a steel get rust, it will expand later on. So the expanded reinforcement steels will give a massive crack on the external wall, and this should be repaired as soon as possible, because it is on the external wall which which protects the building, as it is also plays a role as a building envelope, which gives a shading to the occupants. So it should be repaired as soon as possible, and once the plaster is done, we should repaint it to avoid the to give a good look on the building. Moreover, there should be a good piping system to vacuum out all the stained water on the flat roof, so that there will be no stained water, uh, which will later on uh, which will which will avoid the same thing happens again and again. Okay, now moving on to the next defects, which is dampness. I have found several mold spots on the building, where it starts to, the water stains remains on the building walls. As you can see in the pictures, the molds start forming because of the rainwater, and then there's not a proper gutter system. As it is a flat roof, there are mostly piping. They have used plastic pipes, uh, so the plastic pipes have some leakage on the plastic pipe. So the overflowed water from the pipes gives molds, start staining on the wall and give molds on the retain molds on the walls. Secondly, I have told you the cause of the dampness is rainwater. uh, where the building structure is exposed to the open environment, the sunlight and rainwater causes dampness, can also causes dampness, and it starts the rain. As you know, the molds are not just formed. You can see in the pictures they are just formed. It is new. So during this rainy season, there should be uh, proper the rainwaters are one of the causes for this defect. uh, I can recommend that the shading should be increased, where you we can occupants should increase awning or roofing to avoid waters, I mean the building structure to overexpose to the environment, open environment. uh, this should be repaired also, but not, it is not as important as cracking or peeling paint. So the way I will suggest is to use the water jet to clean all the molds and then repaint it, and then we can increase the shading, uh, and give a good gutter system to avoid the water stains on the building structures. And and the fourth uh, defect that I have found is rusting. The rusting is found on the beams that have made on the car parking roof. I mean, this apartment did not have a close car parking area because the units are high, and there are homestays for 2 floors. So to increase the car parking, the developer have made open area car parking, and have given a zinc roof, a roof using zincs and uh, steel beams. So the steel beams which is exposed to the environment later on gets rust due to the rainwater. And moreover, you can see in the pictures roofings the roofing for the car parks don't have gutters, which the rainwater can give a direct contact to the beams and later on give rusting. As you all know, uh, oxygen and water is enough oxygen and water is enough to rust the steel. So the steel beams, moreover, the zinc roofs, there are screw holes where the water can go inside the holes and get on the steel beams. The recommendation for the rusting beams that I can give is to repaint with anti-rust paint, and then must give a good maintenance. The last defect that I found is insects on the building structures. As you can see in the pictures, the insects and vegetation, the the stains on the pipes, the steel pipes, the insect, they are getting the building is near to a forest. So as I told you, the building is just newly built. There are very few construction, very few. There are very few development around the building. So the when the building is near to the jungle or something forest or bush, even bush, the contact of insects and vegetation is very high. As you can see there are a lot of spider webs, and the insects are getting stuck in the spider webs. On the steel pipe, you can see there are some vegetation like the stains, uh, the fungus, the fungus stain on the steel pipe. This area is very near to the jungle, so the the possibilities of the defect is very high here. The recommendation that I can give for this defect is to repaint it using water jet. Must clean the fungus and fungus and the fungus and the insects. Secondly, we should repaint it and maintain it well. So these are the 5 defects that I have found from the building. uh, Hope you guys understand what I've presented. Thank you so much. Bye.